So, after about 90 hours of playing, I'm finally ready to review Breath of the Wild for the Switch. And before I begin the review, it's going to be completely spoiler-free, which is really hard to do with this game, but I'm going to do my best. And when I say spoiler-free, I'm going to try and leave out every possible detail while just describing how good the game is and what makes it good. If you are completely still spoiler free in the way that you haven't seen any trailers or anything for the game, then probably don't watch this. But the footage I'm going to show while I talk about this game is going to be as spoiler free as possible. It's from pretty early in the game, and I don't really show anything that hasn't been shown in the trailers or anything like that. So if you're going to stop watching before the footage starts, it's a masterpiece. You should go buy it right now. If you're thinking about buying it and for some reason haven't, you need to go do it right now. People aren't lying, all the 10s are correct. It's an incredible game, so go get it. And then I'm going to go start the footage and talk about why Breath of the Wild is such a landmark game for Nintendo and gaming in general.
I think it's unfortunate that this is the first game that I will be reviewing on this channel. Unfortunate for the other games that are going to follow, because I don't know that there'll ever be a game on this platform that is as highly praised by me as Breath of the Wild. To start off, I just want to say that I've been playing games since preschool, so 22 years, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say that this is the best one that I've ever played, hands down. I've played pretty much every Zelda game, excluding Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass on the DS, and like I said, been playing games for a really long time, and this game really tops them all. And I think one of the major things that makes this game so good is the emergent gameplay. This is a thing that we've seen in other open world games that they've been trying to kind of perfect, and it's amazing when you think about the fact that this is Nintendo's first huge open world game like this, with the different items and all of the different AI happening at the same time. You wouldn't believe that they're not the most seasoned creators of this type of game, because it's so polished from top to bottom. I never encountered a single glitch in my 90 hours of playing. And when I talk about the emergent gameplay, it's hard to talk about without spoiling, but things happen constantly in this game. You go off the beaten path and just kind of try to find your own way, see something in the distance that you want to go towards, and so many things can happen. You can find a boat and decide you want to sail it down a river for 2 hours and see where it takes you, and along the way you're ambushed by creatures and you get some new weapon that you didn't even know existed. And things like this happen all the time in this game, and it really makes it feel like a living world, aside from the fact that it's absolutely massive in scale, and the ability to climb everything means that as soon as you reach the top of these places that you'll randomly decide to climb, you'll be met with an incredible vista every time, and the sense of scale is incredible. This world is so realized in that there are tropical environments, rainforests, pine-filled snowy landscapes, just everything you can think of. It really feels like a whole world in and of itself. And To compare it to past Zelda games, you really get the best of some of the best Zelda games out there. One of the things I loved about Majora's Mask was all the different NPCs, how unique they were. They all had backstories and you all got to know them in that game. This game does the same thing but tenfold. There are so many unique characters that you'll get to know in the main story, and just random side quests that you'll do in the different towns. The game isn't as barren at all as it appeared in the E3 videos. It's quite populated, and some of the characters and NPCs will stick with you. There's a really nice minimalist piano score to the game that I think is wonderful because this game is so huge and you'll spend so many hours. The minimalist score really fits well because you never really get tired of the music. It's never in your face, it's just kind of there in the background, and it never gets repetitive, and the music, as is customary in Zelda games, swells in exactly the right moments and really adds to the player's emotion as they're playing through this game. At first glance, the graphics might not look that amazing, but they really are, especially when you consider the physics on everything. The grass, all the objects, the things that you can do with physics in this game are crazy. Pretty much anything you can think of in real life, you can do in this game, with obviously the limitations of a video game world, but less limitations than we're used to in video games. You can strike a piece of flint on the ground with a sword and it suddenly creates a campfire. You can set wildfires, you can shoot electricity into the water, you can chop down a tree with an axe and then push the log towards an enemy and run him over. You can throw bombs around and the enemies will pick those bombs up and throw them back at you, and there's just so many ways you can play with this world, and it gives it such replayability and lasting appeal. There's a really well done cooking system that isn't really a cumbersome crafting system like you see in a lot of these games. It doesn't take up much of your time, and a lot of the ingredients names are things like rushroom is a mushroom that when cooked makes you move faster. The names are clever, so you don't really have to waste time thinking about what goes with what. The shrines are amazing. I don't think I can go back to your standard Zelda dungeons after this because they're just the right length, where you get that satisfying feeling and then you're done before it ever gets frustrating. There's Zelda quality bosses like you're used to seeing at the end of dungeons in the old games, just randomly throughout the world, and in dungeons as well. You'll be just wandering around trying to do something, and then all of a sudden, boom, Zelda boss. And that's something that we've definitely never seen before. Going back to the world, there's so many little riddles and secrets and lore that you'll find out that will lead to loot and treasure that really make this feel like you're living in a storybook fantasy world, like almost Lord of the Rings type, and it's really awesome. Like I said, this game is a masterpiece, and there's really no other experience like it out there. If you like video games, you need to play it. If you like fun, if you don't even like video games, you need to give this game a try because it's an experience unlike anything else you'll have. And for me, it's an A+.